Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I'll be doing your first overview and test drive for the Centurion Mk.2. This is the top level reward for the current season of Battle Pass. Her Majesty is Hussar and currently sits at rank 4 and only battle rating 6.3, and you'll see exactly why I say only in just a moment. So pretty much, if you guys don't know, this is, as the name suggests, kind of like an in-between between the Centurion Mk.1 and 3. Now, what this has over the Mk.1 is a slightly better turret. Armor on the front of the turret is better and also features a stabilizer. So this is a much better vehicle with only a 0.3 BR increase. Unfortunately, it does weigh a few tons more and only has a few horsepower more to make up for it, but this still has a very good shell in the Shot SV Mk.1, which you can see here goes through upwards of around 269 millimeters of armor. Again, only at the BR of 6.3. Now, the big problem is, though, that APDS, especially around this BR, apparently has been nerfed quite a bit over the last few months, so we'll have to wait and see exactly how much damage it does. But just to kind of give you an idea, this, again, is the Centurion Mk.2, 48.8 tons. It has 566 horsepower. Importantly, I believe that's the base horsepower. It should be able to get a little bit more than that. So as you can see, if you look at the engine modification, you get 36.1 horsepower from that, whereas the Centurion Mk.1, as you can see here, weighs almost about 2 tons less, but has very similar horsepower. But again, that's the base horsepower, and this gives you 35.8. So it's about 0.3 less horsepower with the modification. So technically speaking, the Centurion Mk.2 will have a slightly better engine, although I believe it's only going to be on the order of around 5 or 10 horsepower. And with an additional nearly 2 tons of weight, it's still going to be a bit less. As you can see, the turret is a bit different with lesser armor. So that said, let's get into this, test this baby out, put it into test drive. I am stoked to kind of bring it because this is just one of those, like, is it going to be OP or not vehicles? So that said, let's get into the test drive. Okay, so here we are, test drive. Let's go test this thing out when it comes to speed. I want to see if the stabilizer shuts off at any point in time, but this is, like any other Centurion, a very slow vehicle, unfortunately. Now, the stabilizer is going to be a huge benefit, and I'm actually kind of surprised that this is at 6.3 BR. Perhaps it's because APDS shells underperform in terms of post-pen damage, but we will have to wait and see for it. Now, it's pretty cool that this has the M175 mark on top of the turret. Not entirely sure what that means, but it is pretty cool. Now, let's go turn around here, see if we can get this thing beyond 35 kilometers per hour. Not sure if we will be. Okay, we have the tank right there, and that's one problem. Of course, I didn't really have the best shot there, but if it was a larger shot, or better yet, an explosive-filled shot, it likely would have hit that ammo and blown that tank sky high. But of course, it did not. You have to hit those directly square center when it comes to the ammunition in order to get the kill. So it doesn't appear as though the stabilizer is shutting off at any point, which is nice a lot of the time, especially when it comes to lower shell shatter. That is a problem you're going to be facing with APDS, bear in mind. But a lot of the time when it comes to these lower BR vehicles that have stabilizers, they shut off at a certain point. It's just kind of how it is. You see that with the ZTZ, what is it, like 55 or whichever one it is, the 96A, I believe, that 7.7 BR vehicle. But you do see that. So you're not going to get necessarily every kill. It's going to be a one-shot kill when using the APDS, but it will be able to go through much more armor. So again, this goes through 269, whereas the best solid shot that's APCBC goes through 190. So you're looking at about an 80 millimeter difference, as well as about 300 or so millimeters more, or not millimeters, but rather meters per second more when it comes to velocity, which is also really nice when aiming at a distance. So there are a lot of benefits when it comes to using the APCBC, but a lot of the time, if you can shoot with or through a vehicle with APCBC or the APDS, you'd probably want to go with the APCBC because it's not a sub-caliber ammunition, and they just do more damage post-pen. Now, these ones I'm getting somewhat lucky, but also I know where the weak spots are. If you shoot dead center in a lot of tanks, especially these smaller ones with cramped crews, you will still get enough spalling and after effects post-pen damage where you will be able to kill the entire crew and get a kill that way. But when you're shooting something like the side of a vehicle, especially if you're not hitting the ammunition, you are not always going to get that lucky. So it will be something where you really have to make sure that you are shooting in the correct spot with the APDS in order to actually get the kill. Or even just disable a vehicle. But this will require a lot of follow-up shots. It's, again, not going to always be a guaranteed kill. So I'll just show you guys here on this Panther, what was that? Like a Panther G, I believe. It's got no, it must be a Panther D. So it doesn't go through the front there. That was the Shot Mark 8, which is APCBC. And I'll shoot more or less about the same spot if my cannon, or more so my hand, stops moving. And I should go through the entirety of it. Of course, as you can see there, of course you're going to use the APDS in that instance because it can go through more. However, when it comes to the turret, once this thing respawns, you know, you will see a little bit better when it comes to post-pen damage from the, or at least spread, when it comes to the Shot Mark 8 as opposed to the APDS. Okay, so here we are. And it gets the commander and gunner, pretty much just only has a few different, I guess, pieces of shrapnel that fly out and kill the rest of the crew. Now, of course, you're not going to get necessarily a kill like this, but as you can see, if you notice all that extra spalling and everything else that came out of the shell after I fired it with the Shot Mark 8, it does substantially more post-pen damage than the APDS. So if you're going to be shooting a vehicle that you need to get through the frontal plate 100%, then yeah, I would say the APDS is the way to go. Otherwise, if you're looking for better post-pen spread or post-pen damage patterns, the Shot Mark 8 is probably going to be the way to go, especially when it comes to more lightly armored vehicles, in which you can go through the armor with either the APDS or the Shot Mark 8, or really any other type of shot. You know, if you're looking at lightly to medium armored vehicles, Shot Mark 8 likely is going to be the way to go. But either way, what do I think about this vehicle? Enough about the Shot Mark 8 and the APDS. I feel that this is actually a very good vehicle. Kind of like the other vehicles in the Battle Pass, it is a bit boring. I'm not going to deny that. However, it is good. This is a very good vehicle, and I'm actually really surprised that this is at 6.3 BR. Full stabilizer, APDS, despite its misgivings, it is a very capable vehicle, and we'll have to wait and see exactly what this thing brings to the battlefield, whether it be overpowered, whether it be crap, who knows. But it's a pretty dang interesting vehicle, and it's kind of like when you see missiles being added to aircraft at lower and lower BRs, that's kind of what this thing is. Will it be good? Will it not be good? Will the stabilizer just merely prop up an otherwise okay vehicle with shells? Who knows? But either way, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This video is going on probably for far too long, but yeah, thank you all so much, guys, and I will see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.